One of my favorite things is when folks come in and they're like, I don't know why, but I think I want to try paint. What do I do? What do I need? How do I get started? Is painting okay? Or, or whatever. It's like, yeah, this is what you need. And no, it doesn't have to be good right off the bat.
Hi, I'm Kati, Texas. Today we are in sunny Blue Lake, California to talk to Lush Newton. She's a sculptor and an illustrator, and believe it or not, this is her studio. Let's go inside. Lush, thanks so much for inviting us into your house today.
Totally. Thanks for coming. Welcome to my kitchen.
So I'd love to talk first about your sculptures.
Okay.
I've always admired your characters. They always have so much like pathos and personality. Do they have personality for you? Do they represent something?
Totally. Well, I mean, I don't know if they necessarily represent something, but they definitely have personality. And when you start building them, you start putting all the parts and things together, they start talking to you. And you can kind of feel, that wily look in their eye or their wiggle tooth or whatever, they start talking to you, and then you just bring them to life and color them up.
Do you ever name them?
There is a giraffe on the bus whose name is Ginger. And the other giraffe's name is Mitzi.
Do you make sculptures for any particular reason?
Well, the main reason is to bring the drawing up off of the page. A while back, I made a giant sculpture, the biggest sculpture I've made ever, and that's a 16-foot pink polka-dotted peg-legged pony for the Arcata Playhouse. It started out as a small sculpture. I'd say it's probably 16 inches tall, maybe, and then it grew somehow. And now it's 16 feet and it takes a couple people to push it.
That's what happens if you don't stop feeding them.
I know, right? They just grow.
Yeah, everybody does a little bit of everything.
Right.
But how would you describe what you do as an artist?
Primarily what I do is I make weird, fun drawings on just about any kind of surface. And then I like to bring them off of the page and make them take up space in the world.
Like you're building pets.
Or something.
Or friends.
Yeah, pets or mascots or, guardians.
So tell me something about illustration. What makes a good illustration?
A good illustration, I would say the 3 C's: craft, concept, and composition. And I know this is old school, but that's how I roll. Old school seems to be, it makes more sense. It's more immediate. And so then you just kind of figure out where you need to be. I really like that drawing. I was really excited. This pen helped me make a really great drawing. I've just always really liked bears. Like my first big fascination with bears was Dancing Bear from Captain Kangaroo. So then my next bear obsession after Dancing Bear, Country Bear Jamboree at Disneyland. Seeing things that had been just a line drawing, then actually move and sing, and that was amazing. And that made me really want to kind of sculpt and take things off of the page. Like so. And then you go over here to your trusty glue gun. And then you just kind of take your trash. Mix it all up in there. And then you just kind of paint it on. And then you take your paper and make sure you rip your paper. Don't cut it, because that straight edge, that factory edge, it just doesn't bond as well as a rip, because the rip just kind of locks in there. And then they really start talking to you once you lay the masking tape in. You can kind of feel, what they're thinking or like how they laugh or, what kind of music they listen to or whatever, like, I don't know, this guy felt really kind of biffy to me, kind of generally stoked on just being a bear, kind of biffing around. There you go. That's the first steps of making a bear, the paint job. Well, when I was little, I was brought up on television. Captain Kangaroo, Dancing Bear, Mr. Green Jeans. Sundays, Wonderful World of Disney, Yogi Bear, Scooby-Doo. All of that stuff.
I'm beginning to see the roots.
Yes. And then when I was little, I'd say I first figured out that I wanted to be an artist or was an artist when I was 2. And my mom would read me Crockett Johnson's Harold and the Purple Crayon. And I seriously was obsessed with a purple crayon, drawing everywhere. And we're actually sitting at my first studio. Oh. This table was in my grandma's house. And when I was 2, I told my grandpa, I said, hey, can you hold me up? Show me the barn. So he picked me up and I said, I'm going to draw you a purple barn. I'd done it. And they were, and mom and dad and grandma and grandpa were like, okay, it's a barn. It's a purple. Yes. And so from that point on, I always had paper and crayons. And so I left the country, went to the big city in Kansas City, and I was there for 4 years and I have an illustration and design degree, a BFA. And I got recruited by Disney. I also worked for Hallmark. That was an amazing experience. I learned a lot about other kinds of painting and corporate America, and worked with a bunch of different high caliber artists and just had a great experience.
So when I met you, you were working at the Art Center,
Yep.
Our local little mom and pop art shop.
Totally.
And then, of course, now
I'm co-owner of the Art Center in Arcata on the Plaza. I've been behind that counter for coming on 20 years now. I made connection with folks and people being there that I would never have bumped into anybody like that if I hadn't have been standing behind that counter.
What do you like about running an art store?
One of my favorite things is when folks come in and they're like, I don't know why, but I think I want to try painting. I've always wanted to paint and I feel like I need to do it. What do I do? What do I need? How do I get started? Here's the first step. Mm-hmm. Please take it. Please, you're only going to mess up if you don't do it. And then when they come back and they're like, okay, I like this, but this is what I like about painting, but I'm having trouble with this part of the painting. I want it to be more squidgy, or I want more texture. I need, I want something else. And I don't know what it is. And I like talking to folks and trying to figure out what that is or how to help them make it a little smarter without being such a struggle. Because, art's hard. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really get easier over time. It just gets faster.
At the art store, not only can you learn and network and meet people, but you're also like a teacher and consultant.
Yeah, or like an art bartender. It's kind of how I feel sometimes. Because folks come in and lament with this problem, and then I need a tube of Naples Yellow. There you go. And then that helps me be a better painter too, because you think about how to put that drawing together or how to put that painting together in a little bit smarter way. I mean, yes, painting is intuitive, but it helps you kind of hopefully narrow down which way to go so that you don't have to backtrack so much, but you kind of backtrack anyway. And so working at the shop, I started to find out about different tools and different kinds of brushes and why you use those brushes, and then the consistency of paint to make those brushes work. The right yellow to use. Like if you use a warm yellow to make a green, you're going to get muddy gunky brown green, and I don't like that. I like using a nice clean yellow so you get a good range of greens. I love cadmium yellow light.
Oh, cadmiums there.
And there's, yes, cadmiums are a little harsh, but there's nothing like them. And I also really love Naples yellow to kind of take that edge off.
I noticed you use a lot of cardboard.
Yes.
Is there a reason why cardboard?
Cardboard is everywhere, and it just comes to me. I'm a cardboard magnet, and I've always loved using cardboard because, like, sometimes when you get nice stuff, you get locked up and you can't make a mark on it because it's so nice.
Like, I just spent $30 on this piece of paper.
On this sheet of paper.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, okay.
And so part of the reason cardboard is it's comfortable, and I can make it do whatever I want.
It's ubiquitous.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easy access.
Easy access, and it's the most perfect mid-tone. Cardboard, it's your friend. I also like working on the smoother side. You can see how smooth it is. I mean, they're both smooth, but you can really see, like if you look close, you can see all the lines from the corrugated business. And when you put paint on it, that really makes those lines apparent. So I always try and do it on the side that's not so apparent. Lately, I've been really digging paint pens and then just a good old, big old marker.
Is there something in the process that does something for you? Does the making of art have meaning for you? Or?
Yeah, the illustration or painting, the end result, like painting on the cigar boxes or whatever, is great, and the end result's fine. But what I really like out of that is pulling a nice line, like hitting like the perfect consistency of paint, and then dipping that brush and then rolling it to a point and then making that line. And then also additive building by wadding up plastic or whatever, paper, and you make all those planes in the face of what you're making, and that's when you start to see them kind of talk to you. Mm-hmm. Those are the total habit forming moments that I really, really like.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much for telling me about that. Thank you for inviting me to your very first studio.
Yes.
All right. And thank you for joining us today on Studio Space.